Before you fire a single scan against a target, the professionals do something that beginners consistently skip. They listen. Reconnaissance, specifically passive reconnaissance, is the phase where you gather as much intelligence as possible about a target without touching their systems. No packets sent to their network. No requests logged in their servers. Everything you learn comes from publicly available sources. Done correctly, you build a complete profile of an organization before they ever know you exist. This is Ethical Hacking Episode 3. Passive recon is not optional. It is the difference between a professional pentest and a sloppy scan that trips every alarm on day one. By the end of this episode, you will know how to use Google Dorking to find exposed files and login panels, how to map an organization's DNS infrastructure with dig and dnsenum, how to harvest emails and subdomains with theHarvester, how to find internet-connected devices on Shodan, and how to pull everything together into a structured intelligence profile. All of this using open-source tools already in your Kali Linux installation from Episode 2. The penetration testing methodology you learned in Episode 1 starts with reconnaissance for a reason. Every attack surface comes from information. The IP addresses you attack, the services you probe, the login portals you test. Before you can touch any of them, you need to know they exist. Passive reconnaissance maps the attack surface without alerting the target. Active reconnaissance, which we cover starting Episode 4 with map, directly probes systems. Passive recon is quieter, slower, and often more valuable because it reveals what the organization thinks is hidden. The legal framework for this episode is straightforward. Every technique we cover today operates entirely on publicly available information. Data the target themselves published, or that third-party services have indexed. Running the Harvester against your own domain, querying WHOIS records, or searching Shodan for your organization's IP range is completely legal. The restriction is the same as every episode: the intelligence you gather must be used against systems you own or have written authorization to test. Build your target profile in the lab, point these tools at a domain you registered for practice, or at bug bounty programs within their defined scope. Google Dorking uses advanced Google search operators to find information that organizations did not intend to expose. The most powerful operators are cite:, which restricts results to a specific domain, filetype:, which finds files by extension such as PDF, XLS, or DOC, intitle:, which searches the page title, inurl:, which searches the URL path, and cache:, which shows you Google's cached version of a page even if it has been removed. You combine these to laser-focus results. Cite::target.com filetype::PDF finds every indexed PDF on a domain. Cite::target.com intitle::admin finds admin panels. Practical Google dorks that pentesters actually use. Cite::target.com filetype::XLS finds spreadsheets that often contain employee data, credentials, or internal configurations accidentally published. Cite::target.com intitle::index.of finds open directory listings, web servers showing their file system. Cite::target.com ext::SQL finds database dump files left exposed. Cite::target.com filetype::log finds log files with stack traces, server paths, and sometimes usernames. The Google hacking database at exploit-db.com/ghdb is a searchable library of thousands of working dorks. Bookmark it. This is open source intelligence at its most efficient. WHOIS records are the administrative database behind every registered domain. They contain the registered name, organization, email, phone number, address, name servers, and registration dates. In Kali, run WHOIS followed by the domain. The registrar, creation date, expiry date, and name servers are always present. Registrant contact details may be redacted by privacy services, but the name servers always reveal the hosting provider. Route 53 means AWS, Cloudflare name servers mean Cloudflare protection. The registrant email can expose the actual owner even when other fields are hidden. DNS reconnaissance reveals the full map of a domain's infrastructure. Every subdomain is a potential attack surface. Mail.target, dev.target, staging.target, vpn.target, admin.target. In Kali, run digtarget.com any to get all record types. Digtarget.com mx shows mail servers. Digtarget.com txt reveals SPF records, DKIM entries, and sometimes internal service configurations. The tool dnsenum automates this. Run dnsenum followed by the domain. It performs zone transfer attempts, brute forces common subdomains, and pulls all DNS records into a single report. Zone transfers should be disabled. When they are not, you get a complete dump of every hostname in the zone. TheHarvester is a passive intelligence gathering tool pre-installed in Kali Linux. It queries public sources including search engines, certificate transparency logs, WHOIS databases, LinkedIn, GitHub, and DNS servers to collect email addresses, subdomains, IP addresses, and employee names associated with a target domain. The basic command, theHarvester, then D for the domain, L500 for the result limit, and B all to query every available data source. For a focused search against a specific source, use B Google, B LinkedIn, or B SearchSpotter for certificate transparency logs. Certificate transparency logs are one of the most underused passive recon sources. Every publicly trusted SSL certificate is logged to public CT logs by the certificate authorities. Tools like crt.sh index these logs and expose every subdomain that has ever had a certificate issued for a domain. Navigate to crt.sh in Kali's browser and search for %.target.com. You will see subdomains the organization may think are internal or hidden. TheHarvester uses SearchSpotter as a source to do this automatically. The key insight: there is no hidden subdomain if it has a publicly trusted certificate. Certificate transparency logs are permanent, public, and searchable by anyone. Shodan is the search engine for internet-connected devices. Where Google indexes web pages, Shodan indexes banners, the raw responses from network services. When you search Shodan for a target's IP range, you see every open port, every service banner, every version string, every SSL certificate, and sometimes default login pages, all without sending a single packet to the target yourself. Shodan has already done the scanning. You are reading results from their continuous global internet scan. This is completely passive. Free accounts at Shodan.io get 100 results per query. An API key unlocks programmatic access and larger result sets. Practical Shodan searches for reconnaissance, hostname: target.com finds all Shodan index services for the domain. Org followed by the company name in quotes finds services registered to the organization's ASN, net: followed by the IP range and CID are notation scans that range. You can filter by port, hostname: target.com port: 22 finds internet exposed SSH, port: 3389 finds exposed RDP. The vulnerability filter is especially powerful, vuln: followed by the CVE number finds hosts still running vulnerable software, including Log4 Shell, which is still live on real production hosts years after its discovery. For your lab, search your own public IP address. You will likely be surprised at what Shodan already knows about your home router. Maltego is the professional tool for visual link analysis. Where theHarvester gives you raw lists, Maltego builds a relationship graph, connecting domains to IP addresses to email addresses to employee names to social media profiles to organizational structures. The free Maltego Community Edition included in Kali gives you basic transforms. A transform is a query: take this domain, run it through public sources, return related entities. Start with a domain entity, run all transforms, and Maltego builds the web. You quickly see how subdomains connect to infrastructure, how employees connect to assets, and where overlapping patterns reveal hidden relationships you would never find searching manually. Building a complete target profile means aggregating every data point into a structured intelligence document. Start with the organization, name, legal entity, IP ranges, ASN number, hosting providers. Then infrastructure, all discovered subdomains, each one's hosting provider, technology stack from response headers. Server: Apache, X powered by PHP, set cookie patterns reveal the underlying frameworks. Then personnel, harvested email addresses, LinkedIn profiles, organizational chart inferred from job postings. Job postings reveal internal technology stacks, seeking AWS architect familiar with our Kubernetes deployment, tells you the cloud provider and container platform. Then vulnerabilities, outdated software versions from banners, exposed admin panels, open directory listings. A reconnaissance report from just these free tools can run 40 to 80 pages on a mid-size organization. You will find exposed configuration files, developer portals with default credentials still enabled, staging environments running old software, and internal service names that match public CVEs. Every finding is documented with source, screenshot, and timestamp. This intelligence drives every decision in the next phases, which IP addresses to scan with map in episode 4, which web applications to probe with Burp Suite in episode 8, which services to search and exploit DB. Reconnaissance is not a phase you rush. Professional penteists allocate more time to reconnaissance than to any other single phase. The rules for everything in this episode: passive recon using public sources is legal everywhere. The moment you take this intelligence and act on it, running scans, attempting logins, exploiting services, you need written authorization for those specific systems. The reconnaissance techniques are your scout. Authorization is your permission to engage. Never confuse the two. Everything from this episode is appropriate against your own assets, bug bounty targets within their defined scope, or authorized penteist engagements. Build the habit of thorough reconnaissance before every engagement. It makes every subsequent phase faster, more targeted, and more effective. Your Kali lab from episode 2 runs all of these tools right now. theHarvester and Maltego are pre-installed. Register a free domain for practice or set up a dummy organization on your own infrastructure and run the full reconnaissance workflow end to end. The next episode, episode 4, takes everything you found here and validates it with map, host discovery, service version detection, OS fingerprinting, and NSE scripts against the targets your recon identified. Subscribe and hit the bell. The entire ethical hacking series drops in order, each episode builds directly on the last. Drop your reconnaissance findings in the comments. What did you discover about your own domain that you did not expect? I will see you in episode 4.